Some people who had to shield during the pandemic say they're finding it hard to get back to normal life. Researchers at the University of the West of England have spoken to 15 rheumatology patients who had to stay away from people at the height of the COVID outbreak. 2 years on from the end of shielding, some say they're still finding it hard to readjust. Here's Julia Causton.
For almost 18 months, Pamela's life was put on hold.
I couldn't leave the house. We were even told don't put the bin outside.
One of 4 million in the UK classed as clinically extremely vulnerable. Pamela was advised to shield.
My brother was very ill as well, and he couldn't see me because he had to shield. And he sadly died. I couldn't even travel to his funeral because the COVID rates at that point were too high and it was too great a risk for me to go to his funeral. So there were lots of losses during that time.
3 years on and life isn't back to normal.
For me, church is really important, and I'm still struggling to get back into that space with lots of people. When I go now, I sit at the back, usually wear a mask, and then make sure there's ventilation.
Researchers at the University of the West of England have found others' lives have changed too.
Being classified as clinically extremely vulnerable, for a lot of them that was the first time they'd actually seen themselves as vulnerable. They really saw themselves in a different light. And with some of these rheumatic conditions, they're quite often what we call an invisible illness. Not everyone can always see that someone's got them, and they found that for the first time they were maybe having to tell people about this and justify why they were shielding.
The team spent 3 months studying 15 patients who shielded during the pandemic. Some have struggled to readjust.
They just felt different. They felt different to others, and they talked about how when other people were going back to their life as normal, they felt really forgotten. They felt left behind.
Pamela is positive about the future, however different that may be.
So it's a new normal. It's managing risk every day.
Julia Causton, BBC Points West.
Yes, some people are still quite